Good evening and welcome to Discovering. For this year's walleye opener, I headed to Little Bay de Noc.
You know, we're very lucky to be in this fishery and have...
Some people compare it to Christmas.
Yeah, well, you know, it's like opening day of deer season, you know, you think about it all week, and then when it happens, you're here.
And a quick story on a smelt fry I am happy to see return after it stopped too many years ago. So sit back and relax. It's Monday night, and it's time for Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone, forests thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak, surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields, call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill, the eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
On opening day of walleye and northern pike season, I joined Jeff Serpian, Jerry Plurd, and Kobe Fletcher for a morning of fishing on Little Bay de Noc. Before we launched, I stopped in and chatted with Keith Soderman, owner of Bayshore Bait and Hideaway, right next to the boat launch in Gladstone. Keith said the shop was busy the last few days with anglers preparing for the big day.
Leeches, crawler harnesses, floating rapalas, things like that, bottom bouncers too. So,
I was going to ask, what's the best technique out here for catching walleye?
most guys are using crawler harnesses for sure. So there are a few jig fishermen too, but mostly crawler harnesses and bottom bouncers.
Okay.
So
Running those on planer boards then? Or?
some do, some are drifting. A lot of guys will just drift. So when you get to the end of your drift, you just go back up and start over.
What all do you have in your shop here?
Well, we got lots of salmon stuff. I like to do a lot of salmon fishing, so we're pretty good with that. Lots of crawler harnesses, Wicked Walleye, Walleye's Choice, all local companies, Rapala. We do have a little bit of a bass selection that we're trying to grow. That's a pretty popular thing around here these days. It's getting more and more popular. It's kind of slept on a little bit, you know. Mm-hmm. And you know, your Aberdeen, slip bobbers, line.
How long have you been here?
2.5 years now.
2.5 years?
Yeah, it's going quick, that's for sure.
The guys originally wanted to launch out of Escanaba, but the morning was cool and breezy, so they figured the upper part of Little Bay de Noc would be less rough for filming.
These are the days like today where usually it's usually the nastier the weather, the better the fishing.
You know what they say, this looks like a really nice walleye chop.
Yeah. And you know, it's a narrow bay, so it's good for boaters because it kind of protects us from the weather. It's just a great place to come and fish. If you've never fished Little Bay de Noc, you're missing out. You don't need a great big boat to do this. You know, we launched today with a 14-footer right behind us, and he could catch just as many fish as we are. You know, we got a small boat right in front of us, and they look like they're having a great time too.
A whole bunch of different techniques out here: drifting, casting, jigging, trolling.
Drifting would take guts today, though.
We joined 30 or so other boats hoping to hook into some opening day Little Bay de Noc gold. All waters of the UP, even the Great Lakes, close for walleye and northern pike from March 15th to May 15th.
You know, they said it at May 15th is to protect the spawning walleyes.
Yeah.
And pretty much May 15th is usually when it's just about done and they're in post-spawn mode at that point.
Yeah.
So it protects the fish and allows them to spawn and have a future walleye population for sure.
Yeah, not be bothered and to kind of do their thing, to spawn up in the whitefish here, which is just north of us. There's probably 40, 50 boats up in there right now. We have a closed season. Other parts of the state don't have a closed season, but we do. And we also have a slot limit here in the bay. Anything north of the Bark River to the lighthouse, there's a slot limit. So we're allowed 5 fish per person, and only one of those fish can be over 23 inches. So you have to be careful when you're catching your fish, and if they're too big, you got to let them go. So, but that's the way it works here in the bay.
Wind pushing us.
Jerry is the captain of this vessel, and he and the guys set out a half-dozen lines on planer boards.
Yeah, so what we're trying to do today is imitate some of the bait fish that's in this area. And right now there's a big school of perch out here. So a lot of these post-spawn walleyes that we're looking for are looking for those perch, and we're going to try to imitate the perch today. So the walleyes really go after perch very aggressively. So we're going to try to imitate perch today, see if we can get some bites.
And Jerry has the latest technology on board to help find the fish.
New technology that a lot of fishermen are using is called Live Scope, and it actually shows fish in the live mode. It shows where they're at. Here we go, right there. You can see the fish here. He's swimming. As opposed to the 2D sonar where you're marking fish below the boat, these are marking fish outside 50 feet, 100 feet out. There's a fish there at 45, 50 feet, and he's swimming away from the boat. So this really is a great tool for fishermen. You can set your program based on what you're seeing on the graph with your depths of your crankbaits. There's some fish here, some active fish up high, which means if they're up high, suspended, typically that's active fish that are looking for some food or they're feeding, and that could be a good sign.
It was a good sign. Less than 3 minutes later, we had a bite.
Fish on, everybody! That's a good start. Remember that program too, Jeff? How many feet back it was?
That was 70.
Okay.
Still on? You sure he's still on?
Yeah, I think so. Keep coming.
Okay.
He may not be a giant, but it's a good start. These post spawners are all staging out here off this reef right now.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this rod over Kobe's shoulder, so that way when the board comes up, I'll put it over and he'll get the board off for me. You don't want to reel really fast with these walleyes, you just want to keep it steady. And then I keep reeling as he gets the board off so we don't lose any tension on the fish.
Yeah, time to get the board off.
Yeah.
First little baiting knock walleye of the season, right here. It's all about the net guy. There you go.
Might be a little bit not walleye.
I think he's just about legal.
Yeah, that's a perfect to eat right there.
That's a nice fish.
Absolutely.
And he's 16 and a half.
I've got that 16.
That's a really good eating fish.
Not long after, another board went back, and it was Kobe's turn on the reel.
That's a good fish. We have a hog, a little bay hog on, everybody. Little bay hog. Kobe, the pressure's on you.
I know. I can't lose it. Not on TV. I'll never live it down.
There's worse things gonna happen. Put the rod tip over my shoulder.
All right. Okay, now you can go over top of him, and put it in the rod holder and put it on the clicker. And grab the net. There he is.
That's a much bigger walleye. There we go. That's a nice one.
There you go. Beautiful fish, Kobe.
Look at that gold color on those bait and knock walleye. That
That is
gold,
a
that Canadian
nice
gold
fish.
is beautiful. Good deal. So far, I think our plan is working, but we got more time to go, and that's a beautiful fish right there. There's two big things you got to do in fishing. You got to find a fish, and then you got to try to figure out what they want to eat, if they want to eat. But the equipment Jerry has here takes care of one of those problems, finding the fish. You know, if they're there, that's a big step in catching them. And where they're at, like they're suspended, so our baits are suspended. And so far it's worked.
That is the fun of it, just figuring out the program, figuring out what they want, how they want it, what the speed, colors, it all matters.
Yep. Yep, and it's like a golfer once said, the more I practice, the luckier I get.
Exactly. So our program today is 60, 70, 80-foot leads behind the board. And that runs these Berkeley flicker shads down about 12 to 14 feet. That's the water column we're concentrating on. And the cool thing is these fish are suspended right now out here. And when you find suspended fish, typically that means these fish are biting and they're feeding.
We're doing good.
And your success
thing
rate
about
goes
here,
way
you
up
get a
when
lot
you
of
can find those suspended fish out here.
But, you know,
Might be just weeds, guys.
Oh.
No, it's fish. Feels like a fish. Not a real big one.
all right, give me.
So this is on a snap weight program. Something I use a lot on Lake Erie. 5 feet. There we go. There we go. Nice fish.
Nice one. Another great eater.
Good net job.
All right, so far I'm two for two. But this is our first pass.
You want to take care of that for me?
Yes, our first pass here, and we got 3 fish. So it seems like where we were hoping that the fish would be, they're sitting there. So
Opening day success.
yes, I'm gonna double make sure that he is legal. I'm sure he is.
I guess he's 18, 19.
He's about 16 and a half.
I was way off. Yeah, I'm a typical fisherman. Yep. Yep. So today our program is crankbaits, flicker shads, flicker minnows, unassisted and assisted with a snap weight. Okay.
Jeff and Jerry are both part of the Badenoch Great Lakes Sports Fishermen Club.
Yes, it's definitely an eater. The Great Lakes Sports Fishermen's Club, we raise walleye and have them planted here in the bay. Last year, we put in 12,500 fall fingerlings, which are about 6 to 8 inch walleyes here in the bay. And this year, our target is to raise for spring fingerlings around 250,000 spring fingerlings for that to go in the bay here, which between the spawning, the natural spawning, and that is greatly assisting in keeping our fishery strong here and fun and enjoyable. So these boats that are all here right now have something to catch, and helps our economy, helps everyone have fun. So, Jerry, any other word on that? I mean, we put in hundreds of thousands of walleye in this bay. The fishing club does that, and we get grants from local people and organizations to help us, fund that. But most of the labor between us and the Department of Natural Resources put it together. And every year that I've been here, it keeps getting better and better. I've been fishing the bay pretty hard for about 8 years now, and we get a lot of big ones, get a lot of them. And, I just think it's great success here for the Upper Peninsula. So and obviously there's a lot of people here enjoying it.
Fish. The rod tip straight up, straight up. Here's a little one. But that's a future fish. Gonna catch him next year.
There you go, buddy. Off he's gone.
A little mixed bag today. Small ones, big ones.
Yep.
It's good to see.
Got the different age classes.
It's great to see all these age classes that are coming up. It just shows that the stocking program's working.
That might have been a fish we stocked in the bay.
Absolutely.
The fishing club.
After the morning bite where we caught 4 right away, the fishing slowed down, so Jerry switched up our tactic.
Sometimes when the bite is a little tougher and slower, adding a crawler on your crankbait can be really effective. And I like to hook the crawler on the front hook, front treble, like so. And then I pinch it off halfway back. So I use a half a crawler. And what that does is it actually adds action, and it actually adds some scent to your crankbait. So sometimes that can make a big difference in your bite. If you look right here, you can see the wiggle of the crawler. A little extra action in your crankbait.
Yep.
And sometimes that can be just enough difference to make the fish bite. we reset, and we extended our leads to 100 feet to get our crankbaits now a little bit deeper. And we're hoping that is going to be the magic program.
The crawler worked, and the guys let me reel in the next fish. I must have been so excited I forgot to get a video close-up of the fish, which was a little less than 16 inches, so another good eater.
That's the thing about Little Beatty Knock. It has a lot of nice reefs. It has a lot of structure where fish have great habitat, and you can find these fish by these reefs in Little Beatty Knock. So that's what's unique about this area is it's full of reefs, and when you have reefs, you have bait fish, you have perch, you got walleye, and so this area is really productive.
This spring was slow to warm up, and water temperatures were below normal for this time of year.
So the water temp is 49.6, which is a little bit on the chilly side. Typically it's in the 50s this time of year, so we're a little bit behind right now.
When did the ice leave the bay this year?
So
the ice was on the bay in this area here like 3 weeks ago. It was actually challenging for the DNR to collect some eggs because they couldn't get the fish out of the water. There was ice in the way. But they did a great job collecting eggs this year. They had a good egg take this year. So we're going to raise a lot of fingerling walleyes this year for the bay. So it's looking good for that part of it. He needs a measurement for sure.
yeah, we got a double. This one is a big fish.
Just keep pulling him to your right if you can. Pull him to the right, get him away from this line.
The way the next planer board shot behind the back of the boat, it looked like it was the walleye we had been waiting for all day. And it put up a good fight for Jeff. When it turned out to be a snagged fish caught in another lure, you might say we were all a little disappointed. If I had $1 for how often that happens on camera, I'd have a few dollars anyways.
He has to go back in the water. It's a nice big fish.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. This morning was already proved to be productive, and we're having a ball, enjoying ourselves, catching some great fish that we're going to eat later, and it's just a blessing we have here in the Upper Peninsula, in Little Bay de Noc.
It's a great feeling to be back out on the open water after a long winter. Thank you to Jeff, Jerry, and Kobe for a fun day of walleye fishing on Little Bay de Noc. This last Friday, I hit up a Friday fish fry, but it wasn't your standard haddock or cod. It was a smelt fry put on by the Ontonagon Valley Sportsman's Club at Hoppy's Bar in Kenton.
Ontonagon Valley Sportsman's Club, we go way back doing these smelt fries. We did them at Topos and Twillies, and first time we've ever tried it here.
Their last smelt fry was pre-COVID, so I'm happy to see it finally come back. And today's smelt fry is free for seniors and veterans.
Matter of fact, inside the door here, we have a donation jug labeled for OVSC youth programs, but I'm getting a lot of donations right here. A lot of people that qualify for a free fish fry, they're still paying anyway, which is it's wonderful.
Those dollars go towards the club's youth programs, including their free summer youth shooting sports program starting in a couple weeks on Saturday mornings at their shooting range south of Bruce Crossing.
We kind of go ages 8 on up. They get to do 22s in archery, and we feed them lunch.
And this coming Saturday, they also co-sponsor a kids fishing tournament with the Paulding General Store.
Well, the kids can get there, I think, as early as 6 o'clock in the morning, and they get free night crawlers, and then they go on their way fishing. We kind of want them back by 2 at least, and we measure all the fish, and we give them ribbons for their accomplishments. We got a first, second, and third place ribbon for every possible category, and we create the categories as the fish come in. If a bullhead comes in, we create a bullhead category.
90-year-old Art Juntanen is the oldest member of the OVSC.
When I was young, I used to be always fishing someplace. And we used to go up to Ontonagon, Paddy's Creek, or Cranberry, or all the river mouths. We fished all the time, and sometimes when they were running good, we used to bring a pickup load box full and then distribute them in Bruce Crossing and all the people in Ewan.
That's all for tonight, and I hope to see you right back here next week for Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.